Welcome back. And with me now is Mrs. Tiffany O'Neill Walker. Tiffany, how are you doing?
I'm doing great tonight.
So welcome to Altitude.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Altitude is about science. You hear about STEM, right? But science, technology, engineering, and math. It's very popular, but we oftentimes forget that there's an A element, an artistic element to most technical people. So we thank you for taking the time to join us this
Absolutely.
evening. So what do you do, Tiffany?
I am the production art supervisor for a local large print company.
Okay, fantastic. And
Yeah.
production supervisor, what does that mean? Do you do graphics? Do you do videos? Or do you paint?
Production art is, it's kind of a step between an absolute creative graphic person and a completely technical graphic person. And what I mean by that is a lot of our clients will work with ad agencies or other creative agencies to get a base of their signage designed. And then we will take that and create all of the various elements that they might need that mimic that same look that they had created with an outside creative agency.
Interesting. So you are a master or mistress of many, many types of tools, graphics tools behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So what type of education or what type of experience would a young person need to maybe pursue the type of job that you have? Where would they start?
I would say at the baseline start at least AA. My personal educational background is an Associate of Applied Science in Visual Communications. With that, I could have gone any number of directions. I could have tried to go a straight creative route. I chose to go technically behind the scenes with a printer because, quite frankly, that was where the money was. So I went that route. A lot of people will go into game design. There's a lot of, I'm sure, variations of the degree now, but I would definitely recommend your basic technical 2-year degree. When I was in school, it was an 18-month degree. So you're literally in school minimal amount of time. They put you right into the programs you need to know, and you come out trained and ready to hit the ground running and actually producing in the tools that are available.
Sure. Now, what inspired you to go for that particular AA? What kind of work did you do in high school? Or did you draw a lot? Did you paint?
Yes, I loved to draw. I loved working with clay and pottery class. I actually loved shop, working with wood.
Really?
Yeah. And so I just really was always drawn to art and colors and different textures and mediums. And I actually thought going through school that I would want to do something more creative where I come up with original ideas. Very quickly learned at the end of graduation, you present a portfolio of your work. And I was looking at my work, my original work compared to my peers. And I was like, no way, no way are you, my ideas just didn't compare to a lot of I would say the leaders in my class. And so I got very realistic, and that's also a reason why I chose the technical route, because I said, well, you need your work to kind of stand out to go creative. But that didn't put me out of the art running, because you still need an artistic eye. There's math involved in design.
Oh, really? Math?
Yes, absolutely. Threes and odd numbers look better visually to the eyes. Varying sizes of things look better to the eye, and also certain patterning of things look more visually pleasing in design. So there was a kind of tie-in to that scientific and math background too.
Yeah, so the artistic thing is also kind of a look and feel, like you call it the eye. You have that sense for what it takes to make something look visually attractive.
Yep.
That's fantastic. I also noticed that you have many tools, and are there any particular specific tools that a young person could start to learn? I know I've heard of like Adobe Illustrator, that might be at the high end, but if you could share.
No, I would say the entire Adobe Creative Suite. So you can get your hands on Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. That's going to carry you through anything. Those have been the tools that I've been doing this for over 20 years now. Wow, that makes me feel old. But those tools are the ones that have been there and are staying around. Well, InDesign's a little newer than Photoshop and Illustrator, but Photoshop and Illustrator have been around my entire career and training. InDesign came in, but again, it's an Adobe tool and it's had staying power. It actually burnt out one of its competitors that we used to use.
Wow.
And made it fall by the wayside. So I say you're into those 3 programs, you're good to go. That's what you're going to need.
Fantastic. So that actually leaves a lot of options too. So if you're in high school, you can start to look at maybe local community colleges or technical colleges that offer graphics design and illustration. Tell me a little bit about, or can you share how that then would tie with like a web developer or other people that support some of the work that you do maybe? Is there a web development aspect to that for coding?
There's design, I would say, like a user interface designer. Those are the people that figure out how to configure a web page, how to make it look attractive, how to make it easy to navigate. Anybody who wants to specifically prepare graphics for web preview or even the gaming industry, there's a lot of people behind the scenes doing renderings and animations and things of that nature. My schooling included introduction to animation and also video editing. So all of those things are so related. A lot of the file formats are the same. A lot of the training and actually the program tools, once you know one, you go into another. You and I have worked through some things that I didn't know, and you kind of learn different tools work in different programs. Same tools work in different programs, kind of the same way.
Fantastic. So are there any other things on the horizon that you are going to pursue, do you think, with the whole realm of
My career?
yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at right now, and it's got a good life balance for where I'm at right now. There'd be 1 or 2 things in my future. Either I'd continue on into more management, maybe even, I don't want to let go of the artwork, and moving higher up in management would be letting go of my day-to-day interaction with the tools, and or I'd maybe choose a completely different but related, maybe getting more into web developing or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. And I think you had shared with me earlier that you can actually work from home some days.
Yeah.
Your job also allows you to work from home. So
Absolutely.
that's always a big perk.
It's huge.
It's very huge.
We were kind of a trailblazer at my company to be able to do that. So I'm pretty proud of that, helping them to see the value that, this function can be performed away.
Sure.
Can trust that it's happening. And now it's kind of spread to some other areas.
So before we end our interview, are there any particular, can you just share real briefly about the types of jobs that a high school student would then maybe take a couple of classes and maybe work as an apprentice or an internship at a place, like junior developer, junior digital graphics design artist or something like that?
I don't know that, I can speak to my particular company. We don't take in high school students. We do, I take that back. We worked specifically with a local high school that had kind of a apprenticeship program within where I had a high school student shadowing me.
Sure.
That was kind of a one-off. It doesn't seem to be the norm, but I think the biggest thing that would have value for a high school student right now is to dive into the program, see what kind of free trials are out there for Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, and get in and play with it, follow YouTube, see, follow forums, whatever, dive in. Yeah, just dive in and see, and then see if there's any local community ed classes that might have intros to some of those things.
Sure, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ms. O'Neill Walker, thank you very much for your time tonight.
you for
Thank
having
you
me.
for being on Altitude.